Hello everyone and welcome. In this video, we're going to be talking about OBS Studio, which is a recorder that we're going to be using at Heartland Schools to record the various different input sources to your desktop computer. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we need to be able to do is launch OBS Studio. So on your desktop computer, you should have an icon called OBS Studio. You can double-click that icon to launch the application. If for some reason you don't have OBS Studio on your desktop, you can click on the Start button in the lower left-hand corner and scroll down to the O's. Click on the OBS Studio file folder, and then click on OBS Studio. That will launch the application. My favorite way of launching applications, however, is by using a combination of the mouse and the keyboard. If you click on the Windows Start button in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, and then just type OBS, the best match for those three letters will come up, which happens to be OBS Studio. That's going to get highlighted automatically, and you can press Enter on your keyboard to launch the application or use your mouse to click on the link. This is the OBS Studio window. In the center of the window, the largest area on the screen, you have the capture window. In that window, you will see an image of what OBS Studio will be recording. In the lower left-hand corner is a panel called Scenes. We're not really going to be talking about scenes, and you won't really be using scenes. So let's go ahead and skip to the panel to the right, which is the Sources window. You're going to spend a lot of time selecting sources. Your Sources window will have in it your computer's webcam, if you have one, webcam audio, a display capture that will capture what's on your monitor, an interactive whiteboard, which will capture what's on your interactive whiteboard screen, the IPVO document camera, that will capture the video of the document camera, and the IPVO document camera's audio, which will capture the audio from the IPVO document camera. In my case, I also have a snowball microphone attached to this computer for the purpose of this video, but you will not have that. To the right of the Sources panel will be the Audio Mixer panel. The Audio Mixer panel lets you see what audio sources are being recorded and at what volume. If you're ever recording your audio and over here on the right-hand side you see it bouncing into the red, that means your audio is peaking, and that's not good. So you'll want to adjust your audio and bring this slider down to a more manageable level so that the peak of your bouncing audio is in the green or the yellow. To the right of the Audio Mixer panel is the Scene Transitions panel, which is used in conjunction with the Scenes panel on the left-hand side. We're not really going to be dealing with scenes, so we won't really be talking about the Scene Transitions panel. The panel to the right of the Scene Transitions panel is the Controls panel. The first button is the Start Streaming button, but we're not going to be streaming, so we won't be talking about that. The second button down is the Start Recording button. If you press that button, you will start recording. And you can see down below that panel that there is now a recording indicator, and your recording counter is counting upward. There is a pause button that you can use to pause the record, and notice that below the Controls panel, the indicator now says that the recording is paused. To continue to record, or to start the recording again, press the pause button again to unpause the recording. To stop the recording, simply press the Stop Recording button. As soon as you do, that video is saved to your videos folder, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. You don't have to worry about the Studio Mode button, so let's go down to the Settings button. Clicking the Settings button brings up the Settings panel. Most of the settings in the Settings panel you won't have to worry about, because we've configured the Settings panel for you. You shouldn't have to worry about anything in the General tab or the Stream tab, and you really shouldn't have to worry about anything in the Output tab either. However, if you wanted to know where your videos are being recorded, or if you wanted to change that recording location, you would do so here in the recording path. By default, all of our videos are recording at c:/users/your username/videos. You can also see here that the recording format is in the MKV format. However, YouTube doesn't accept the MKV format. So we have OBS Studio configured to auto-remux the video, which will convert the MKV format to an MP4 format, which will be accepted by YouTube. And again, we'll talk about that in just a little bit. When you record something in OBS Studio, you're actually going to get two files in your videos folder. One is an MKV file, and the other is an MP4 file. After you're happy with your recording, you'll just be able to delete your MKV file and use your MP4 file to upload to YouTube or place in your Google Drive. If, when you press Start Recording, you don't have the pause button, that means that someone didn't configure your settings correctly. If you would like that pause button to be available, you would need to come into the Settings panel, to the Output tab, and change your recording quality to High Quality Medium File Size. If it's set to Same as Stream, then you wouldn't have the option to press the pause button. The pause button won't appear. For our purposes, we're going to make sure that the recording format is set to High Quality Medium File Size. Both the Audio and the Video tabs are tabs that you probably won't need to deal with. The Hotkeys tab gives you the ability to add additional control to your OBS Studio install. You can start and stop your recording, for example, by inputting hotkey combinations, as opposed to having to come down and click on the Start or Stop Recording button. For example, if I wanted to configure a set of keys to start and stop my recording, I could place my cursor in that field and push a key combination. Perhaps it would be Control 3. To stop recording, perhaps Control 4. So once I click Apply, if I pushed Control 3, OBS Studio would start recording, and Control 4 would stop recording. It is entirely up to you if you wish to add hotkeys to your OBS Studio install. You won't have to do a lot of things in the Advanced tab either, but I wanted you to know this is where you would go to change the file name formatting for all of your recordings. It's this field right here called File Name Formatting. In addition, this is a setting we will have already set for you, automatically remux to MP4, but this is the setting that will provide two copies of the recording, one that is an MKV and one that is an MP4. Remember, the MP4 is the recording that you will upload to YouTube or to your Google Drive. If you've made any changes at all in your settings, be sure to click the Apply button and then the OK button. The last button under the Controls panel that I want to talk about is the Exit button. Once you've completed recording for the day, simply click on the Exit button and OBS Studio will close. Let's talk a little bit more about how to record. For this section of the video, we're going to be looking at the capture window and the sources. The very first thing you have to do is determine where you want to be instructing from. Once you determine that, you'll be able to select the appropriate sources. If you're going to be sitting in front of your computer and want to record just yourself, you may want to enable your webcam. Notice that we have the webcam down in the lower right-hand corner of the window. If you wanted to record yourself, maybe reading a book, you could easily do that by selecting the webcam source, clicking on one of the handles, and that's the little square around the source itself, and dragging that source up so that it's full screen. In this case, I'm going to just leave mine small. If you select to enable your webcam, you'll also want to enable your webcam audio. Once I've enabled my webcam audio, notice down here on the audio mixer panel, the webcam's audio now has a signal. If you want to capture your display, you would just simply enable the display by clicking on the eyeball icon. If you want to enable the interactive whiteboard or the projector, then you would want to enable the eyeball icon for that screen. If you want to enable your IPEVO document camera, you would enable it here. And then the audio would be enabled here. Notice that the IPEVO document camera audio is now visible and bouncing around in the audio mixer. Anytime that you enable a video capture device, whether that be the webcam, the display capture, the interactive boards capture, or the document camera, you'll also want to probably enable one of the audio sources. So again, if you're sitting in front of the webcam, enable the webcam's audio. If you're going to be sitting at the computer and talking about something that's on one of your two displays, then you'll probably enable your webcam audio. If you're going to be standing in front of your interactive whiteboard and you'll have that enabled, then you'll probably want to have the audio from your IPEVO document camera enabled and the document camera to be moved in front of your whiteboard so it can capture your voice. If you're going to be standing in front of the interactive whiteboard and you want your document camera to capture the video of you standing in front of the board, then you'll also clearly want to add the audio from your IPEVO document camera. Make sure that whatever audio you enable is coming from a source that's nearest to where you're standing or sitting. One other very important thing to consider is to make sure that you don't ever enable or leave enabled two audio sources at the same time while you're recording. What will happen if you do that is you will end up with a terrible echo sound. You can even overlay multiple video sources on top of one another without interference in the video signal. While the video is recording, you can move or resize your different video sources by simply clicking on them and then moving the handles, or clicking and then dragging the entire video screen from one location to the other. For example, if I wanted to click on my webcam and make it bigger, you can see that this is still recording. And I've dragged and dropped my video camera signal from one side of the screen to the other. If you would like to pause your recording, you can do so by simply clicking on the pause button on the right-hand side of your stop recording button. Notice that below the controls panel, the record button now changes, the record signal now changes to a record paused signal. To continue recording, you simply just have to click on the record button once again. To stop recording, simply click on the stop recording button. Well, let's go about the process of finding those videos we've been recording using OBS Studio. The first thing I'm going to do is disable my webcam, and I'm going to enable my display capture. And that's going to look a little weird, like my display is going off into infinity, but that's because I'm capturing the same window that OBS Studio is running on. I'm going to minimize my OBS Studio, so I'm going to find that computer icon on the desktop and double click on it. Alternatively, if you're a keyboard fan, you can press the Window key and the E key. So Window E, and that brings up File Explorer. Okay, so in order to find those videos, all you have to do is find on the left-hand side, either under Quick Access or under your computer itself, you would find the Videos folder. So click on that Videos folder, and you will see the videos that you've been recording using OBS Studio. This one here that doesn't have a picture associated with it is the one that's being recorded. It's the MKV file that's being recorded as I'm recording this video. These two are the ones that is the one that I recorded last. The one with the little cone next to it is the MP4 video, and you can see that if I hover over the top of that video, it says item type MP4 video file. If I move over to the one next to it and hover over that one, you can see that one says item type MKV file. Well, I can tell you that to help keep yourself organized and neat, that as soon as you're done recording and you're happy with the recording, you can right-click and simply delete the MKV video. The MP4 video now, you can see, has a very cryptic file name. Well, it's actually easier to understand than it looks like it is. It's the year that the video was recorded, the month, the day, and then the time in military time that it was recorded. However, that's easy to change simply by right-clicking on the file, going down to Rename, and then typing a name that makes the most sense to you. That way, you and your students will have a much easier way of determining what that video pertains to. So I do recommend that you always rename your video. Once you've located the MP4, deleted the MKV file, and renamed your MP4 file to something that makes sense to both you and your students, you now can do with that video whatever you wish. You can upload it to YouTube, or you can place it in your Google Drive. If for some reason you come into your videos folder and you see only one video for each time you've recorded in OBS Studio, then I would highly recommend that you contact me or one of the technology staff members so that we can make sure that you are recording in both the MKV as well as the MP4 format. Even if you only have the MKV format, there's no reason to worry. That video is still good. We just have to manually remux that video. And again, one of the technology staff can help you with that. So again, now that you have your video recorded and you're ready to upload it to YouTube or place it in your Google Drive, that's all there is to this part of the process. And that's really all there is to it. Again, it may seem like it's a little overwhelming, but I guarantee that once you've done this just a couple of times, it will become second nature to you. I hope this video has been helpful, and I hope that you have a great day.